Welcome. Hey guys, this is Manuel Lloyd. I'm here with another Zero Doctrine Emergency Bulletin. I get these things with notifications. They're as fresh as they can be, I guess. So we have to depend on these agencies to put them out. What my goal is to show you, you've seen the agency bulletin and recommendations. I want to show you my recommendations to give you a full arsenal of possibilities to help you. So let's get right into this. I'll be brief. These are all brief. We're going to call this one Zero Doctrine Emergency Brief number 4. I've already done 3 previously to this. And so far, people are liking them. And hopefully they're being helpful. I am not trying to sell you a product or a service necessarily, but I am trying to convince you to go beyond your typical frameworks with doctrine. So today, urgent advisory is coming straight from a joint release by CISA, FBI, the FBI, HHS, and MS-ISAC. It's a red level threat. It's a high level threat. Okay, so excuse me. The Interlock ransomware group is actively targeting virtualization infrastructure and a new wave of double-extortion attacks. Double-extortion. That basically means that they're not just stealing your data, they're encrypting your virtual machines to paralyze your operations. You know, being in a ransomware situation is tough because you have a hard decision to make. When you ask me, should you pay the ransom, I automatically say no. That's my default answer. Then, of course, we'd have to discuss it. But if you're using the proper system, you should never have to pay ransomware. Eventually, people are going to learn to take cybersecurity seriously. It's taken a while, but it's getting there. So they target your VMs, and then they extort you. So they're basically trying to halt your operations. I mean, if your enterprise relies on VMs, or you manage infrastructure for your clients, if you're a defense contractor, for instance, this is your wake-up call. Excuse me. On the screen here, I'm going to put up the second slide. You see that Interlock is taking aim at virtualization clusters with a precision strike. They start with drive-by downloads from compromised legitimate websites. No misspellings or anything like that. They deploy a social engineering trick called click fix, which basically pushes a fake quote unquote fix or update prompt to trick users into running malicious payload. These guys are desperate. You know, once inside, though, they focus on the VMs themselves, not the hosts. Right? So they're tricky. So not the workstations, encrypting entire virtual instances after pulling sensitive data out. So this is a Sunday, I know, for me here, and but I hope that at least the clientele that I'm working with, government agencies, critical infrastructure, defense contractors, Fortune 500, you have a 24/7 staff. You know, whether it be your internal staff or your external NOC or SOC or whatever the case may be. I hope someone's watching this, and I trust that they are. This shift in the targeting is significant, right? I mean, encrypting VMs means taking down multiple workloads at once, and it hits faster than traditional endpoint encryption, much faster. It's kind of wild. So the technical deep dive on this is that the adversary maps these techniques directly to MITRE attacks. And I'm going to list them off here. Okay. Oh, let me just put them up on the screen. So you have T1189, drive-by compromise. Okay. You have T1204, user execution. Okay. You have T1486, data encryption for impact. And then you have T1567.002, exfiltration over web services. CISA has already released a full IOC set and STIX 2.0 JSON and XML, ready to ingest into your SIEM, or EDR. Hopefully your EDR can isolate affected systems from the rest of your network and restore accordingly. Now, I don't live in that world anymore. I used to live in that world of XDR, EDR, SIEM. I live in my world now. You know, just to be quite frank with you, zero doctrine, and we do things differently here. I mean, if you're running like Splunk or QRadar, Elastic, or similar, this is a plug and play process for you, and hopefully things turn out good for you if you're affected. You know, the sectors that are mainly at risk for this are like healthcare, finance, technology, and managed service providers. Now, I was a managed service provider, and SolarWinds attack, the breach, the third party breach that backdoored into 14 or 18 government agencies, that was from a managed service provider. They white labeled SolarWinds, or they used SolarWinds, and it may have been SolarWinds directly. I'm not sure, but I used to use SolarWinds when I was a managed service provider. My company had gotten pretty big, my MSP. I honestly just could not tolerate it anymore. SolarWinds is great. That's a great company. That it wasn't them. It wasn't the software. It was this whole cycle of madness of continuing to patch, monitor, deploy, agent this, agent that, sock this, knock that. I just got tired of it. And the whole time in the back of my mind, was the interopsis project that I was working on. I just wasn't ready. Now I'm ready, and I'm preaching it every day. So for those tools I just mentioned, they're plug and play. Um, CISA did a good job with that. I give them a lot of hell, but they're doing a good job with that. So let me tell you about my countermeasures. Okay, we're mapping this to Article 5 of the Cybersecurity Constitution, which is operational integrity, and to Article 8, which is resilience and recovery in the doctrine. Operationally, uh, we deploy Agents AI for drive-by pattern detection and enforce TrustNet to verified download workflows and implement multi-net segmentation around your VM clusters. Now, all those things I just mentioned are things basically, I made up the process and the architecture, and I just, had some marketing people come up with the names, but I wanted them to make sure that the names spoke to what they did. And Aegis AI manages all AI, everything. Anything AI, my Aegis AI manages it. TrustNet is identity enforcement. You typically would use something along the lines of an IAM in the MSP world for verification. But in my world, trust is not by default. You have to earn it. Everything has to earn it. And multi-net is a 6-tiered network that it does include the public internet, but everything's segmented by enclaves and bridges. And my bridges are called Enclave Bridge, Bridge Guard. So it would just depend on what your situation was. But it would create segmentation around, your VM clusters. On resilience, we have Phoenix and Revive, and they give you instant rollback from VM snapshots, clean VM snapshots. They are clean. And then our simulation module is called Secure Train, and it stands as your simulation framework, and you can run the drill before the real hit comes to see how you would respond and to see what you need to do. In the Cybersecurity Constitution, there are about 8 or 9 indexes, and Index 2's Titan Gate is a protocol should now include web download controls and click fix defense patterns, plus automated IOC ingestion. Okay, excuse me. Here are my recommended actions for my sovereign doctrine partners. And if you can mirror this in your environment under zero trust, or, who am I kidding? You're not going to be able to mirror it. Zero trust is going to give you a lot of recommendations. My system is going to enforce this. So I would say make this your 72-hour checklist. Validate your MFA for all VM management consoles. Restrict access to VM zones using network micro-segmentation. Pull and ingest the CISA sticks IOC feed immediately. Pull it immediately. And run a double extortion simulation using Secure Train. Remember, ransomware groups like Interlock evolve quickly. They do. Here today, gone tomorrow. You want to be in the prepared column before your sector becomes a headline. You know, there's a lot of headlines that's been going on of late, and you don't want to be one of them. Excuse me. So I have a couple of questions, it looks like here. Let me get to them. Appreciate your questions. This question says, excuse me, what if we're on a different virtualization platform than VMware? Well, the best way I can answer that is Interlock's TTP and target VMs at the infrastructure layer, not just VMware. So whether you're on a Hyper-V or Proxmox or KVM or Nutanix, the same network access and user execution risks apply. So it doesn't matter. Hopefully that answers your questions. And I'll just take two more here because I don't want this to go long. What's this one here? We use, I don't want to say the name of the network framework. I'm not here to bash any framework. I really am not. So I'm just going to say we use X framework instead of your system. Mine meaning Zero Doctrine, which is understandable. Why does this matter to us? Well, because the threat lives at the infrastructure layer, not inside the vendor ecosystem. You won't get vendor lock-in with me. It doesn't matter who's in public office, who's in charge of your NOC or your SOC. Doesn't even matter if I'm here. Even with the framework you use, the pathways, drive-by downloads, social engineering, VM encryption, they remain exploitable. They don't with my system. That's the best way I can answer that. The next question is, are healthcare providers specifically in scope? Are healthcare providers specifically in scope? Well, I would say yes. HHS was part of the advisory release. So healthcare's reliance on virtualization for critical workloads makes it a priority target. You know, when I was an MSP, I specialized in healthcare. Hospitals, large clinics, what do you call them? Physician-owned groups where somebody gets the bright idea to go hire all these private doctors and make one big group, and everybody owns it, which is fine. And my smallest client as an MSP in that healthcare realm was a physician-owned group. They had about 1,500 employees, 200 doctors. They relied heavily, I mean heavily, on virtualization on VMs. I think they had something like 150 VMs. They were using next gen. I think it was called next gen. I forget what those EMRs were called. And they were using other tools, and it was just all over the place. Their topology map looked funky. Somebody needed to re-architect that that place. Anyway, so hopefully that answers your question. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We'll have the full bulletin, IOC packs, and doctrinal mappings in your inbox if you're already one of our Sovereign Doctrine partners, and in the Zero Doctrine portal within the hour. So Zero Doctrine emergency bulletin number 4 is now active. Take action, lock down your virtualization. We'll see you for the next alert. Until then, stay Zero Doctrine, stay uncompromised.